Now, this may be the shortest video of the entire course, but it's very important because I want to talk about cross-platform concerns, especially when it comes to these transactions. Now, SQL Server does not use implicit transactions by default. Now, if you come into the database world with this Microsoft-shaped head, if all you've ever been working in is Microsoft products, that's a good thing. I'm not knocking that, but you got to be careful, and you can't assume that all other database products behave and act the very same way that SQL Server does. As a matter of fact, you will hear over and over and over in SQL Server, store procedures are the way to go, store procedures are the way to go. Other database products, that may not necessarily be the case. So if you ever find yourself in a cross-platform environment, be very careful that you don't embarrass yourself in a meeting. I go way back to the old NT4 days. Had a student one time, he was brand new in IT, and he was all gung-ho about Microsoft products. He came to class one day and he told me, he said, "Hey, I've got this clown at work who told me that Unix was more stable than Microsoft's server products. And I think he's a nut, and what do you think I ought to tell him?" And I said, "You need to go back and tell him he's right." Because at that time, there was absolutely no doubt Unix servers would stay up and run for 2 or 3 years at a time. The Windows servers had to be restarted a couple of times a week to prevent memory lockups and problems and so forth. And anyway, just be very careful that you don't just automatically assume that everybody else out there plays by the same rules that SQL Server does. Keep in mind, SQL Server uses auto commit for single statement modifications, and we can then choose to add explicit transactions anytime we want to. And I'm going to show you some examples of that later in a separate video. Other database solutions may use implicit transactions by default. Oracle used to. I'm not sure they still do. I don't claim to be an Oracle database person, so that's one that you want to check on. You always want to make sure that you verify how transactions are being managed if you find yourself writing code that's going to be used in a cross-platform environment. But you're going to say, well, wait a minute. If I'm writing cross-platform SQL, I'm not going to be writing T-SQL that's going to be running on an Oracle server, and you're correct, you won't. But you will be writing SQL in a standard format that can be used cross-platform, and you cannot assume how transactions are being handled. Now, often, the DBAs will set implicit transactions the same on all various servers, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So all I'm saying here is watch for cross-platform concerns. Do not assume SQL Server is the standard that everybody goes by. It's not. And likewise, the Oracle guys and the DB2 guys and all them should not assume that they're the standard everybody goes by. So can't we all just get along, I guess is what I'm saying. But watch for this out there in the real world to make sure that you're writing your transactions in a way that you understand how they're being handled on other platforms.